The Africa Cup of Nations has reached the last 16 stage. The good news is that Bafana Bafana have made it through. The bad news is that they've been drawn against the toughest opponent you can ask for, Cameroon, the indomitable Lions, the team that has appeared in a World Cup more than any African team 8 times, and is the first ever African side to reach the World Cup quarterfinal, which was in 1990. Then they lost to England on extra time. And also, if you look at the AFCON, they've won the AFCON 5 times. Only Egypt have won it more. And they were the first African team to win it the most. Egypt just won it 3 consecutive times between 2006 to 2010. Cameroon already on 5 times. One would say this is the most successful African team. Will argue if you look at players like Samuel Eto'o, who went on to Barcelona, dominated the world. At one point in time, was the highest paid player in the world. This Cameroonian team is not like before, where you have superstars, but what you are seeing is team spirit. A lot of people were criticizing it that maybe Samuel Eto'o was wrong to select the team because remember before the AFCON, only 2 teams were selected in this AFCON. One was selected by the president and the other one was selected by the coach. But the one that is playing now was selected by the president, the honorable president. It's understandable. The president didn't want Vincent Abubakar to be part of the team because he was going to overtake him with the highest number of caps. Of which, also, imagine a president of an association, and then the striker is coming to destroy your record as the striker with the most capped in Cameroon history. It could be even overtake you with number of goals. No, it's not acceptable. You must stay away. Wherever you play, you must stay there. Guys, I'm not alone. I've got Coach KP and the Kolam Lambo, former Pakania. Guys, let's just hit the ground running. We know that the draw has been confirmed. Senegal are paired with Sudan. Both of them won they've won AFCON. Remember, Senegal, Sudan won it in 1970. They are former champions. Then Mali versus Tunisia. We know that Tunisia have won title. Then Morocco versus Tanzania. Morocco won it in 1976. That was the last time they won this AFCON. And I believe they will win it this time around. They are definitely going to win it. Then we've got South Africa won it in 1996 and Cameroon won it 5 times. Then Egypt 7 times. Benin are yet to win it. Nigeria 3 titles. I can't believe Nigeria have won the AFCON 3 titles. The way they speak Nigerians is like they won it 14 titles. Nigeria will play Mozambique. Will Nigeria defeat Mozambique? I don't know. Maybe because this Nigerian team, it looks good, but you never know. Then we've got Algeria with 2 titles against the RC Congo. Both of them are former champions with 2 titles each. Ivory Coast with 3 titles. West African Derby. Obviously, Burkina Faso are yet to win the AFCON. But in 2013, they lost to Nigeria at FNP Stadium. I was there. I remember that match very well when Stephen Keshi, may his soul rest in peace, before he passed away, he helped Nigeria to win the AFCON. After that, he resigned because the Nigerian Football Federation were disrespecting him in so many ways. Guys, let's hit the ground running. Bafana are drawn with Cameroon. What's your assessment of the same question to both of you? What's your assessment on this draw?
Evening. I don't know, is it evening, is it morning? But yeah, either way, compliments of the new season,
just say good day, good evening, good
day,
morning.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a
Compliments of
good
the
new year.
Yeah, good
Happy
new
New Year,
year.
everyone.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Compliments, and hopefully we'll get new subscribers and so on. And compliments to everyone who's following and liking the screen. Getting to the game, Nadim, you just spoke about you skipped all the fixtures and you went straight to South Africa versus Cameroon, which is very interesting for us South Africans, and I think it's the most interesting fixture for me. Why am I saying that? You mentioned the fact that Cameroon has won this 5 times, but you didn't mention that South Africa has won it once. I don't know if you did that deliberately or
You
you
didn't hear
forgot.
me.
Oh,
I
did
can
you?
tell
Oh,
you,
you
I did
mentioned
it. I mentioned all of them. I did.
Okay, I didn't
I
hear
did.
that, but
Coach
yeah,
KP
they
is
won
not
it.
listening attentively. Maybe it's the new year, Nadim, man. Must forgive him.
Yeah, so well,
It's the new year
they've won it
fever.
4 times. Yeah, we'll give it to them. They've won it more
definitely.
than
New
we
Year
have,
Eve.
and it's good that they've won it, but it doesn't mean that just because they've won it more than us, then they've got the upper hand ahead of us. Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's a game that is open. It's there for the taking. We can win it. Now, they also stand a chance of winning it. I'm looking at how many goals they've scored. They've scored 4 goals. We've scored 5. But the good thing that they are doing is they've conceded 2, we have conceded 4. So if you look at that, it seems like they've got a bit of mojo at the back because they are conceding less goals than we have conceded. But in terms of goals, we've got Lyle Foster, who is amongst the top goal scorers. I tried picking them up. They also have only one player who scored 2. So the game is up for the taking if you're looking at that fixture. I'm very confident that we might cause an upset, but we're gonna have to work hard for it. I think but we can cause an upset. Let me keep it there for this fixture for now.
10-10, what's your take on this draw?
Yeah, Nadim, Happy New Year, guys. This is a very interesting draw for me.
Thank you, 10-10.
It's definitely going to be Mbemo versus our top striker at the end of the day in this AFCON. But my worry is that we concede soft goals, Nadim, man. So it might give Cameroon a bit of an edge. They have a better defense than we have. We can say we have a better scoring record, like Coach KP has already alluded. But for me, the most important thing is defending. If you can't defend, you definitely stand a greater chance of losing a game. And going into the knockouts, my worry from the beginning of this tournament has been the set pieces. We still are lacking, and we were on our 3rd game. Now we are going on our 4th. I don't know if maybe our analysts, our coaches, our tacticians are not picking it up. And when we're playing against a team like Cameroon, the chances that we're being gotten by Abo Zimbabwe, the free headers in the box, it falls into experienced players like Abombemo. It's a goal. So we have a problem and we need to fix it. Because in the knockout, we only have one chance at the end of the day. Knockout stages, we've been doing good against the northern countries. So I'm not sure when it comes to Abu Cameroon, the western side, how are we going to cope, But for me, I'm a bit scared. I'm a bit worried because Cameroon has a point to prove.
Yes,
Yeah, but
you can say they have a point to prove because the last time the Bafana played in an AFCON against Cameroon, they won 3-0 in 1996. But yeah, it's been a while. Coach, do you think Cameroon have an up?
No, I don't think they've got an upper hand. Nadim, sorry meant to interject you. It's been a while, but history can repeat itself. Like you just said, the last time we played them in the AFCON, we beat them. So why not now? It's possible that we can still do it. And we're speaking about Mbeu, whom I think maybe is one of their best players, but so far for me, he hasn't scored a goal. So if you are to compare him playing at Man United and our goal scorer who is playing at Burnley, who has scored 2. So we've got a bit of an edge. And I think with the way we started, it seems like we are the underdogs. And I think we perform very well when we're underdogs. And when it comes to, what do you call this? When it comes to knockout, Nadim, I'm sure 10-10 can agree with me. It's not about form. It's not how good you played in the group stage. This is what we call a smash and grab. You only, 3 games away from being a champion? So why not? You can hit the back of the net and go back.
Yeah,
you see.
but my problem, Coach KP, is that we've been playing smash and grabs for far too long, man. And I always say to people, you can't survive until you survive anymore. Once you can't survive, you die. So we need to come back to resuscitate ourselves in terms of we need to play better, we need to defend better, we need to see the Bafana that we know. And if we are not going to see that, then definitely Cameroon, they have an upper hand. And looking at the games that you are talking about, look at the opponents that Cameroon were facing and look at the opponents that we were facing. It's chalk and cheese. You can't compare both. I mean, they played against the Ivory Coast. They had what's that other team and that nearly beat the Ivory Coast?
Gabon and Mozambique.
They played Gabon, yeah. The one
they played Gabon.
Actually,
and
Cameroon
they
have scored in each and every match they played, yeah.
Yes, and they played against the Abu Pelem, man.
No,
Sorry.
they played 3 matches. Remember, they played Mozambique, they played
Mozambique, they played
Ivory
Gabon,
Coast,
they
then they played Gabon.
So you look into their group. Their group is tough, Nadim. I don't want to belittle other groups, but they are in one of the best groups that we can take out in this AFCON qualifiers. So when we compare South Africa, we were playing against Abo Zimbabwe. The only toughest team that I could say was for us, it should have been Egypt. So when you're going to say Mbemia was struggling and look at the opponents that he was dealing with, look at the people that he was facing, look at the quality and the caliber that he needed to perform. And he did come out tops in certain games because he won man of the match accolades. So it shows you what he's not just a walk in a path. As much as he's not scoring, that means he's being impactful. So if we are going to struggles like defending against teams like Zimbabwe, not that I'm disrespecting them, but that means it's going to be a bit easier against players like Abumbem. So we have to respect the quality and the caliber that he possesses so that we can be able to cope and deal with. Because once we come there pompous and saying, yeah, we've beaten Cameroon in our previous AFCON, that was in the 90s. We are in 2026 now. So let's be realistic and face what we have to deal with.
Yeah, no, it's been a while. Just over around 27 years ago, the last time we beat Cameroon, guys. But
some of the players
in
were
an
not even
AFCON,
born.
we did. Yeah, we did meet in an international friendly, and we met here and there. But in this case, I believe that Cameroon, obviously, I disagree with you, coach, when you say they don't have an age. They do have an age. If you look at, you can't even match up because if you look at our defense, Ngezan and Bogazi, we've got two defenders that are still learning, and they are gonna face a Manchester United attacker. So I was impressed with Cameroon when they played Gabon. I'm interested to know from both of you, how will Bafana Bafana stop this Cameroon from because Bafana Bafana have conceded in every game. We know that Cameroon have scored in every game. In this case, Bafana Bafana doesn't look like they can win with 1-0, especially against Cameroon. They will need to get at least 3 goals, just like they got against Zimbabwe, where they got 2 gifts from Divine Lunga and a penalty from the captain. Of which the goals that Coach KP are praising, Zimbabwe were good neighbors in those matches. So how will our defense stop Cameroon? I'm interested to know that.
Look, Nadim, I agree with some of the points that you guys are making, and mainly what Kola is saying. It's a bit of it puts me on a bit of a nerve or an edge when you talk about the number of goals that we've conceded, because the number of goals that we are conceding, Tenten, like you have said already, they don't make us look like we are a team that is competing to be champions or a team that is good enough to go in the semifinals. I mean, we've conceded 4 goals already and we've scored 5. So, meaning we've conceded almost 1 goal per game, which is a bit of a problem. And like you're saying, when you meet up with better teams, then it becomes a problem that maybe now you cannot outscore them. Then you're going to have an issue. Like my favorite coach, whom always says, defenders will win you championship or given hand. So yes, we've got something that we need to deal with there. We need to sort that out. But this is not the time to change the combination. This is totally not the time. Maybe on the full backs, 1 or 2 on 1, not 2. I think the defense that has been letting in goals needs to remain. Maybe it's not only at the back. Maybe there's the middle field. We saw Obas coming in to change and not to drag it. For me, Tola and Nadim, I'll just do this. I think hopefully this is how we go. So I would go with Oronza. I will remain with Oronza here and Gezana and Mbogazi. And mainly, like I'm saying, combination 10-10, we are going into the knockout stages. As much as Mbogazi is still young and learning, we cannot say he's inexperienced now. He has played 3 games in the group stages. So he has gained experience. I mean, you are only as good as your last game. You see, as much as the goal that we considered where he was dribbled, it shows a bit of inexperience. But yeah. And then if we are to sit back, I would maybe look into sacrificing Obre on the side, but it also kills us in terms of going back forward. So I would keep Obre here and then we here. The only change that I think we need, I think I will start with Batuzi Obas because he has shown how good he can combine with Otebo Mrembola. And then here, number 10. You see, I had to put number 10 so that it can be clear. I would start with number 10. I personally would start with Rile Mfukeng. Why am I saying that? No, I wouldn't start with Rile. Yeah, I would start with Mfukeng, and then you'd start with, and then here have a police. On the other side, I would have not Moremi, but I would have Nkota. I'll tell you what, Nadim, and then obviously I'll start with Ulyle Foster, looking at the number of goals that he has scored, looking at his experience, also looking at his presence. I mean, he has proven. I'm just gonna put the 4 for the defense, just so because we know Cameroon usually plays 4-3-3,
Yeah.
just like us. But I'll stick to this. Normally, wherever Foster goes, he gets to occupy 1 or 2 defenders. So his presence in the field says a lot for us. So with Urile coming close by and having Uapolis playing as a half 10 and Unkota playing as a half 10, I'll push these guys to up just to stick on the back 4. This defense has proven to us again, Nadim, that they do concede goals. They've conceded 2 goals in 3 games. So they do take goals. So I'll have Urile here. Why am I having him as a 10? He's not a natural number 10, but he can always move on the other side, and then you can always have Apolis. So this interchange is very important for the player that will be here. And then Unkota will always be cutting in and having a shorted goal. So my lineup, like I said, I would start that way. I would have Williams and Ngezana Mbogazi. I'm not sure if I want to have Ukawini on here or Umudiba. That's the only question I have. But I will start with Umudiba here, and then I will have Mudawu, as I said, Batuze Obas playing as a CDM, Mukwena as an 8, Rile Mufokeng, Nkota, and then Apolis and Foster. I think the only one thing that I'm picking up with the bullying or the off form of Umrembola, Nadine, sometimes players burn out. Maybe Tola will come into this one and help us. I think Mrembola is not that he's off form. I think he's burning out. If you look at the number of games that he has played in the last 4 seasons, Nadim, it's very, very high number of games. And looking at this season alone, remember after Kev, they have to play Bedway. They went to Club World Cup.
They had to go to the Club World Cup, yeah.
Yeah, as well. So I think he's burning out. I think he is burning out. And because of him burning out, he might not be giving us the best of the A games. But if you look at our team holistically, we are not on the A game team. So I would start with that formation. Looking at the fact that Mbule can always come in and change. You can always have Umremi coming in to change the game. And Uwanase Simahopa to add on there. So I think that's how we can stop them. But remember, like I said, when you go into the knockout stages, Nadim, you don't go into the knockout stages to stop the other team. You need to win it. Remember, they will be coming to us to win it. We need to go to them to win it. So we are not going to go there to stop them. It's going to be one against the other.
Yeah, no, but I'm not sure, Coach, about Ngezana. Ngezana, I think the best combination I think we need to have is CBC and Mbogazi. CBC's been playing with Mbogazi at Orlando Pirates. I think there's no time now to... This experiment has really failed in the group stages. Let's go for people who can communicate together, who play well. I think they can easily guide each other. What do you think about that, pairing Mbogazi and CBC?
I hear you, Nadim. I'll just move here again. We are talking about mainly the central defenders, you see. But if you look at the goal, I think the only goal that I think was considered here, that's when Mbogazi was dribbled and he went out, you see. But if you look at the goals that were considered, I'm looking at the own goal that Zimbabwe scored. If you look at it, Mudiba was found here, and the ball was only played here, meaning he's already facing his own goals, where it forced Mbogazi to try and cut in, but unfortunately we're already late. You see, so for me, the other problem that we have been having, it's this position here with Usitole and Mukwena. They have not been doing very well. Remember, these 2 guys are guarded by these 2. So if these 2 are nowhere to be found, these 2 will be exposed. So it's a combination of a collective thing. So as much as we are saying these 2 are not playing well, and you've just singled out Ngezana, but are we really giving Ngezana his flowers where he plays well? I mean, there's tackles that he has made in the previous game where I felt they are tackles that are winning. We're speaking about CBC and Mbogazi that have played together at the club level. Well, they might know each other very well. They've played more minutes together. But is this the time to play that combination now?
Yeah, no, definitely. it is the time to play them because CBC has been part of the setup for too long. And Mbogazi is the most talented defender that we have. I honestly think Ngezana must not play. CBC, that pairing maybe they will work because now we're going to be facing now Ngezana and Mbogazi, they will be properly tested because if you look at Cameroon, I hear that you are saying they concede goals, but remember today when they played Mozambique, they've already qualified. They just put a team there. They made like 7 changes or so. That's why they played him because they wanted him to score just to gain confidence. But if you look at the team they've conceded 1 goal only against Ivory Coast before today's match, of which the team that played today is not the team South Africa will face. It's going to be a much stronger team. So forget about the goal conceded by Cameroon. They've already qualified before going to the last stage. So I think Bafana coach, they need to honestly produce a magic. I'm struggling to see how they can go through the next stage.
Well, I'm just trying. I'm gonna be biased and say we'll find a way of going through. I don't agree with the change of Umbo or the central pairing of Ngezana and Mbogazi. I totally don't agree. Maybe if we want to change, maybe change on the left side and then have a rest defense of 3. Where when I say the rest defense of 3, instead of us, because in most cases we push these 2 guys and then these 2 push up. And then that's where we end up being exposed, you see, and then we are faced with this. So I'll rather have these 3 staying like this, and then we attack on the right side. That's why I'm saying maybe Kobeni here, and then Mbogazi, and then Ngezana whenever we move on, and then we will always come back to this. So I don't agree with Ngezana. I don't understand why. I feel we are, as South Africans, we are a bit hard on the boy. Yes, he's got mistakes. Yes, he's the combination.
Yeah, because he plays in Romania, coach. It's because he plays in Romania, a low-rated league. So we're not convinced. He left.
Even when he was playing Chiefs, even when he was at Chiefs, he was never the favorite. We as South Africans, we never really appreciated him.
No, he was not selected because Kaizer Chiefs players are not selected for the national team anymore. So he was not selected when he was there. He had to leave. He had to leave Kaizer Chiefs in order to be selected. But again, I don't know, coach. Maybe you're right. Maybe Ngezana can surprise us. But also, if you look at Morocco, Tanzania, what's your take, coach?
Come again, Nadim?
Morocco, Tanzania, what's your take? Because we know Morocco at home and Tanzania. You think Morocco will go to?
I'm gonna give you the straight win to Morocco, man. They look like a team that won. They're sending out a message. You're looking at the top goal scorers. They've got this guy who is it Kabini or not Kabini? Kabi, Kaabi. The guy who just
El Kabi.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. I feel like he's scoring goals just for show off, man. I mean, he's got 2 bicycle kicks. It looks like he wants to show off. They are the top goal scorers.
It's already scored the goal of the tournament.
Yeah, you see, so and you've got Ibrahim who wants to prove that he's not playing in Spain for nothing. So I'll give it straight to Morocco there.
And then you've got our neighbors, coach, Nigeria versus Mozambique. What's your take there? I'm actually impressed with Mozambique, coach, for them to qualify because by today they've already qualified. Even though they lost to Cameroon, they've already qualified.
But then again, you said it's Mozambique. You said they're playing who?
Nigeria, the Pastas.
There is no way. There is no. As much as we are impressed with how they're playing and they've qualified, oh my God, this Nigerian team doesn't look like it's there to take prisoners. Nigeria is full on. Nigeria is there to send a message. They are clear with their mandate. Like I said, them not qualifying to the World Cup, it just gives them an edge. So unfortunately, Mozambique has done well. We'll clap hands for them, but I see them coming back. I think it's gonna be 2-0 for Nigeria, straight win.
You don't even say surprise, coach.
Lookman is going to score. I don't see any surprise there. Never. There's no surprise there.
I think I agree with. It's difficult, coach, to say Mozambique will beat Nigeria. I agree with you there. Egypt is playing Benin.
Straight win, Egypt. Mo Salah will come back, score. Mamouche will want to score again. Benin, bye-bye. 2-0 again. Egypt, straight win.
And the Egyptian, imagine, look, they've got Mohamed Salah and Omar Mamouche. The rest of the players, many in the lineups are local-based players, but credit to the Egyptian League because they're always winning the CAF Champions League. Last year it was won by Pyramids, and then
Pyramid.
also Al Ahly's been winning it. It just shows the strength of their league if you look how strong they are. Because for me, they are one of the
Yeah,
favorites
and
of this tournament.
when you speak about Egypt, as much as we're talking about Mamouche and Salah, there's a guy whom I was impressed when they played us by the name of Zizou, who plays in the middle field. The guy does hard work. He's forever running. So I'm
Solid.
waiting to see if that was only based on the fact that they were playing us or what. So I think Egypt will win it straight, Nadim. There's no stopping them there.
Actually, Mkwena must watch that guy. Mkwena needs to play that guy. Then we've got Senegal versus Sultan. I've already touched on it. And then Mali and Tunisia. What's your take on that one?
Okay, let me start
That
with
would be an
Mali and
interesting one.
Tunisia before. Let me go on Mali and Tunisia first. I've tried watching Tunisia play. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't see much games, but the game that I saw, I think that's why they
They
won
lost to
2-0.
Nigeria 3-2. Yeah, they lost 3-2
Yeah,
to Nigeria.
to Nigeria. Yeah. That's when I think that game was very interesting. They are not there to add numbers, but they are playing a Mali team that is very dangerous, man. This team looks like they just want to go there and punish. So it's a
Yeah,
difficult one,
actually, coach,
but I
they
think
nearly beat Morocco. They nearly beat Morocco.
it was very close. You see, so it's gonna be a close one, but I'll give it to Mali 1-0 or 2-1.
And then Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso.
No. Before we left you said the other one. It was Nigeria against
Senegal,
Senegal.
Sultan. Senegal, Sultan, yeah.
So I was heading there. So for me, I don't know how it goes, but I see Senegal is gonna trash them. Senegal is hungry, man. You're looking at Nicholas
Strong.
Jackson.
Yeah,
Senegal is
it's
going
very,
through three,
yeah.
3 win,
Then
3-0 win.
And the surprise team that can shock all of us in this tournament, we're not talking about it, but there's Algerian. This Algerian team looks solid, coach. Algeria is
Yeah,
playing DR Congo. Both of them have won the AFCON twice.
yeah, but the Algerian team has the upper hand, man. You look at one of their top goal scorers in 3 goals, or Riyad Mahrez, who played 2 games but scored 3 goals. I looked at I forgot the guy's name, and I've been watching him. They've got this boy, jersey number 11. Hopefully on the next one we will get his name. I really forgot his name. He's looking very, very sharp. So I look at the goals that they scored yesterday, pinpoint without Riyad Mahrez. So I see Algeria going through 2-0 as well.
And then the last one, coach, is Ivory Coast versus Burkina Faso.
Defending champions, whom today went to
the elephants of from Ivory Coast, Abidjan.
You look at the team that they dished out today, the team that lined up. It only had two players. They made a whole lot of changes. We saw their captain and Zaha starting. I look at them and I see them going 2-0 down. Remember, we spoke of Cameron. I was saying, look at football. I even took a picture, posting it, saying, look at Ivory Coast. At some point, they were the number 3 on the group. But then they turn things around. They win the game 3-2, Nadim. So it shows you they are the defending champions for a reason. So there is no way that we're gonna see a surprise. Yeah, straight win for Ivory Coast. The only surprise that is gonna happen in this knockout stage is Bafana going through over Cameroon.
Yeah, the striker you're talking about, coach, is very good striker. He plays for Fenewood, Haji Musa, the one from Algeria. He's very, very good. Yeah.
Yeah, no. That Ivory Coast team is dangerous, man. They look like the defending champions. So remember we spoke about the shock that will happen in South Africa going to the next round. But my top 4 between you and
I don't think I wouldn't say it's a shock if South Africa really beat Cameroon, coach. You know why? Cameroon didn't qualify for the World Cup. Bafana qualified. Cameroon didn't reach the semi-final in the last AFCON. Bafana reached the semi-final. If you look at this Cameroon team, there's so much turmoil. There's so much. This lineup is from who? Honestly speaking, I will not be surprised if Bafana beat Cameroon. I think they've gotten a team that they can easily beat. Not because Bafana is better than Cameroon, but because organizationally, under Samuel Eto'o's leadership, the best players of Cameroon, they were not picked for political reasons, whatever. And the coach was fired just before the tournament. He fetched a coach from somewhere. It's not the same guy that was coaching. It's not the same guy who qualified. So I think Bafana do stand a chance, coach.
Yeah, no, they do stand a chance, but we also need to give credit where it's due, man. I mean, if the coach has just started now, he has done well be where Cameroon is, and we'll give it to Samuel Eto'o as well, you know. So, but going on to Sunday, I think I'm gonna be behind Bafana all the way. Hopefully, they don't let us down. Again, Nigeria straight win. I'm looking at this Morocco team, and hey, Morocco, they look like they're just gonna clean swift again. They were 100% straight win, 3 games, 3 wins. So also Morocco, it seems like they are raising hands. They are really raising hands. So it's gonna be interesting to see as we go to the last 8 after this last 16.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see, because with Morocco they're playing Tanzania. They only drew one match against Tanzania, against Mali, that 1-1. Then they won the rest. Coach, that's it for us. Your last word, coach, ahead of our match on Sunday.
Yeah, no, to all South Africans, let's go out, support Bafana, and hopefully the boys bring it home, man. Thank you.
Yeah, and happy new year, everyone, and thank you so much. Join us next time.